Hey everyone, welcome to CS4Everyone.com. In this video, we're going to cover our very first algorithm. And this algorithm is going to be determining if a number is even or odd. So essentially our goal here is to get input from the user using that prompt function that we learned about in the last video. And we're going to print out if that number that they put in is even or odd. Nothing crazy. So remember, I think it was 2 videos ago or 3, whenever we talked about the operators you can perform on data types, there was that modulo operator. And you're going to see how useful that is in this video. It's extremely useful for determining if numbers can divide into other numbers. And you're going to see how we get to apply that to determine if a number is even or odd. So go ahead and go back to your environment, open up your browser, get on the console, get your file ready to go. So the very first thing we need to do is we need to get the input from the user. So let's go ahead and get a variable called usernum and set it equal to prompt. Enter a number and a numbered, and I'll tell you if it's even or odd. So we are going to get the input from the user. We're going to ask for a number. Now there's a short little issue here. And that is that prompt will give a string. So what we'd have is we'd have if we put in 5, it'd be a string. So it would not be a number data type, it would be a string data type because that's what prompt returns. You get a string back from it. It does not, if you put a 5 in, it will not give you a number data type, it will give you a string data type that just has 5. So that right here is what it would be. It would not be 5, which is what we want, it would be 5, the string. And so this introduces the idea of typecasting. Typecasting is the idea, or is the construct of converting between data types. So what we want to do is we want to turn this into this. We want to turn 5 the string into 5 the number. And it's actually really easy to do that. You simply type number, and then you can put what you want inside of it. And now usernum is a number. We have converted this into this. Pretty simple stuff. Nothing mind-blowing. It's just we need the usernum to be a number so that we can do the modulo operator on it to determine if it's even or odd. So let's think about this for a few seconds here. Essentially, the rundown here, the attack plan, will be that we're going to have an if statement and an else. And one of the if will be if the number is even, and the else will be if it's odd. So if it is even, print, hey, it's even. If it's odd, print, hey, it's odd. So how do we say is a number even? What do we use to determine if a number is even or not? This is a strange idea. And really it boils down to the modulo operator. Remember that the modulo operator returns if a number is even, returns the remainder of division. The modulo operator returns the remainder after division. So if you do 3 modulo 10, or 10 modulo 3, you'd get the remainder of 1, because 3 only goes into 10 3 times with a remainder of 1. If you do 15 modulo 3, you'd get a remainder of 0, because 3 goes into 15 5 times with no remainder. So that's the goal here, is we're going to use the modulo operator, and we're going to mod the number, we're going to mod the usernum by 2, because any number that can successfully be divided by 2 is even. That's just the mathematical definition of an even number. It is, if a number is divided by 2 with no remainder, it's even. Go Google it. It's a little bit more mathematically rigorous than that, but essentially, if the number can be divided by 2, then it is even. So if there is a remainder after being divided by 2, it's odd. If the remainder is 0, then that means it's successfully divided by 2 and it is even. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's do if usernum modulo 2 equals 0. Remember, use the double equal sign, not the single equal sign. Double is used for comparison. Single is used to assign variables. Don't mix those up. So if usernum, hold on. Go ahead and surround usernum by number in here. So now it knows that this is a number data type. We'll get into the difference of why it didn't work when it was up here later, but just put it in there and you'll be good to go. So if the remainder of division is 0 after you divide it by 2, then it is an even number. So console.log, and we can do string concatenation here. We can say usernum plus is even. Else we will say is odd. That's it. That is the whole thing. Let's go ahead and test this a few times. Enter a number and I'll tell you if it's even or odd. Let's put an odd number in, 9. 9 is odd. Let's do an even number, 50. 50 is even. Let's do 500. 500 is even. Let's do 5,000 and 1. 5,001 is odd. You can keep testing this. It will work every time. 10,000. Screw it. Let's get huge. Let's do that number. Should be even. Yeah, even. Let's do this. Should be odd. Boom. It's working every time regardless of the number. And that's because any number that successfully can be divided by 2 is even. And so we use the modulo operator to determine if this number can have this number divided into it without a remainder. So if you have 0 as your remainder of division, you're good to go. That's it. That means that the number did successfully divide and you've done it. So this is our very first application using these tools. Determining if a number is even or odd is it's a pretty good thing to know, and also using the mod operator to determine if a number can be divided by another number with a remainder or not. That's a very useful thing. Guarantee you it will come up in interviews. There's a very famous question called problem called FizzBuzz, which we will get into eventually. Actually, pretty soon. Honestly, once we covered loops, you're good to do FizzBuzz without a problem. It's not an extremely hard problem, but a lot of newcomers and people who haven't coded a whole lot in their lives, they also kind of screw up on it a little bit. But not you. You are going to know how to answer FizzBuzz, no problem. So as I promised in the last video, when I said that the next video will cover else ifs, I lied. I wanted to do this real quick because y'all need to understand the applications and algorithms that you can use these tools to create. So in the next video, we will cover else if statements. So see y'all later.